Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is an unboxing, as well as a vlog. I'm going to be showing some titles that were sent to me by a longtime friend and subscriber of mine named Johnathan, as well as a few other titles that I picked up since the last update video I did. And I want to give you a sneak peek at what I have planned for this month on the channel. And a very special announcement for a upcoming interview, which I am really excited about. So, if I sound like I'm a little congested or something like that, my sinuses have been kind of bugging me lately. I'm hoping I don't have a sinus infection, but kind of feels like that. So, we'll see how things are, how I'm doing in the next couple days. But let's actually just start with the items that were sent to me by a good friend of mine, Johnathan. So, here we have a DVD copy of the film Cardiac Arrest. Now, he sent me the empty DVD case without the DVD because apparently he left it in his player or something, and I kind of forgot about it, but he said he was going to send it to me in the next package, so here it is. So that's Cardiac Arrest on DVD. Here we have The Great Mouse Detective, a Disney film. I've actually never seen this one. I've heard of it. I've heard some decent things about it, but I've never actually seen the movie. So, and I didn't have it at all, even on DVD, so that's a good addition to the collection. Here's another animated film. Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. I'm curious about this one. I like Mortal Kombat, specifically Scorpion. He's my favorite Mortal Kombat character. It's going to be interesting to see a film featuring him as the lead. It's rated R, so that's a good sign. But there hasn't been anything good in terms of a Mortal Kombat movie since 1995, so I'm gonna go into this with extremely low expectations whenever I do check it out. So, Mortal Kombat Legends. Here we have the collector's edition of Tales from the Dark Side, the movie from Scream Factory. I like this film. I think it's a good movie. I think it is absolutely 100% the unofficial Creepshow 3. And even though this isn't a new transfer, it's the same transfer that's been floating around on the internet for a while. It's still the definitive release of the film because of all the features, which I'm really looking forward to. Because apparently it's like 5 or 6 parts, and there's like a bunch of different interviews with people, various different people involved with the film. I think Ray Don Chong is one of them, as well as the director, the producer, and more. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking out the features on this this Blu-ray, and it's a welcome addition to the collection and a really nice gift. Everything that Johnathan has sent me has been nice, whether it's just been kind words on my YouTube videos or gifts in the mail, and also everything that you have done to support me, whether you're a new subscriber or an old subscriber, is nice, it's wonderful, and it means the world to me. It really does. So, it's a couple more things that Johnathan sent me. House by the Cemetery. House by the Cemetery on 4K from Blue Underground. I took a look at this 4K disc. It looks good, but this is one of those films that's kind of dingy and dark anyway, so I don't really think that it's one of those movies that is going to be amazing in 4K. It is an upgrade over the Blu-ray, but it's not one of those films where I think it's going to be like, oh my god, like, I've never seen something look so good in my life. So it's not like, for instance, The Shining on 4K, which is so sparkling clear and crystal that you literally feel like you could walk into the rooms in the movie. But it's still a good transfer, and it's a welcome addition to the collection. I'm really actively trying to get as many 4K releases as I can. So that's one that I was curious about because it's Lucio Fulci film, and I've actually never seen the movie. So to have it in the best possible quality is a good thing. Now, the last one is one that I already have. I picked it up at Walmart. I showed it in the last update video. This is a Blu-ray of Shivers, the Vestron Collector Series. But here's the thing. This is still going to work out because this is going to be a part of a Christmas package for a good friend of mine. That friend knows exactly who they are. So here's a little sneak peek at a part of your Christmas package. So that's it for the gifts that he sent me. He also sent a letter. I'm going to save that for last. But let's get started with some of the other random stuff. Here we have Ray Stantz, Ghostbusters figure. I said in a video a while back that I was going to show Ray, so here he is. For some reason, Ray was the one that I had to wait the longest for. Forgive the glare. I have a Darkman wallpaper up right now, so that's why it looks like everything's on fire. But that's Ray. Now I have all the Ghostbusters from that Hasbro set. I don't have all of the figures from that set because not all of them really interested me. So I only wanted the main 4 Ghostbusters. I'm kind of waiting until I create some more space in my room in certain places before I want to, maybe try to set them up somewhere. But for right now, I'm just going to leave them in the boxes. Here we have a few Blu-rays that I picked up recently. Got this from Goodwill. It's 28 days later and 28 weeks later. This one is... I'm just double checking something real quick. But anyway, I got this for like what was it, like $5 or something. Now, I did not have 28 Days Later on Blu-ray, and I did not know that it was such a crappy transfer. This film, 28 Days Later, looks like absolute ass in HD. And I get it. Apparently it was shot with a Handycam. I forgot that it was shot with a Handycam and wasn't even really originally shot in 480p. So it makes sense why it looks so bad in HD. But at first I thought there was something wrong with my TV or my settings or something, because it was astonishingly awful in terms of the picture quality. If you are a fan of 28 Days Later, just stick with the DVD. There's no reason to upgrade, because the Blu-ray is just really terrible. It's pixelated, it's got way too much sharpness, it's an absolute just mess. It is one of the ugliest looking Blu-rays I've ever seen. It really is. The sequel looks good, though. So as soon as I put in the sequel, I knew that it wasn't my TV. Speaking of Blu-rays that look good, Uncommon Valor. I wish that they used the original theatrical poster art, but it is what it is. And there's no features. It's completely bare bones. But this is easily the best the film has ever looked. This transfer is excellent. So if you're a fan of this film and you've been wondering whether or not it's worth upgrading because of the picture quality, it absolutely is. Because it is stunning, to be perfectly honest. It really is a great transfer. Paramount actually went out of their way and did a legitimate remaster for this, and it shows. But I do wish that there were some kind of features. There isn't even a trailer, and this kind of annoys me, this photo here, because it's clearly stretched out. So they didn't even really put the most effort into the production in that regard. The disc doesn't have any cover art. It's just bare bones, nothing. But it's still nice to have Uncommon Valor on Blu-ray, and it is an upgrade over the DVD, for sure. Speaking of upgrades over DVDs, I got the Pirates of the Caribbean films, a 5-movie collection. The reason why I got this is because it was pretty cheap. This is a UK release. That's why Pirates 5 is called Salazar's Revenge instead of what it was originally called in the US. You have Pirates 1 and 2, and then Pirates 3 and 4. They all are actually on their separate discs, so they're not just crammed onto one disc, which is nice. Does not port over all the features from any of the films other than the 5th movie, so it is definitely a little bit of a disappointment in that regard. The only things that you really have with the first 2 is some lame game, and the 2nd movie there's some bloopers. The 3rd film there's some bloopers, but and then on the 4th one there's some bloopers. But if you have the other films on DVD like I do, other than the 5th film, the features are on there, so you could probably just watch the features on your DVD release, which is probably what I'll wind up doing. But a good deal to get all 5 of them in one set, and they actually do look really good. At least I thought so, compared to the DVD. Speaking of things that look really good, I mentioned earlier in the last update video about the Criterion releases that I got from a seller, and that I bought some Criterion Blu-ray cases to put the cover art in and to put the discs in, and this is the end result. So we have The Brood, we have Naked Lunch with David Cronenberg and Peter Weller. You have Don't Look Now. And then we have Blowout with John Travolta, Nancy Allen. Now, this is what the case looks like empty. I got one extra one, which is perfect because I'm ordering one more Blu-ray from that same guy. So, Safe with Julianne Moore. So that will be... I think it's Julianne Moore who was in it. So that will be the next Criterion release that I'm going to be adding to my collection. And cost me like $20, I think, buying these cases from Criterion directly. But it's worth it because that way, if you ever run into a situation where you don't have the cases or a case gets damaged in shipping, you can just go to Criterion's website and buy the actual cases that they use for their releases, which I thought was pretty cool. That doesn't always happen with every retailer. The rest of these are DVDs. The first 2 are ones that I forgot to show from a haul from the past. So here we have the Temp with Timothy Hutton and Lara Flynn Boyle, directed by Tom Holland. I've actually never seen the film. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. Got a good deal on this. This DVD is out of print, so I only paid sorry about that. Hair just floats around, whether it's dog hair, whether it's cat hair. It's probably some dog hair, because we have a dog that just sheds everywhere. But he's a husky. He's a husky mix, and so every time I see him, he reminds me of The Thing. So I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. No pun intended. But anyway, the Temp with Timothy Hutton. Here we have Police Squad, the complete series with Leslie Nielsen. I've actually never seen this, and I know this had a Blu-ray release that came out pretty recently. But if you ask me, I'm fine with this DVD because I checked it out up converted and it looked really good. So I don't really see the need for an upgrade at this point. Got this film called Painkillers. Because it looked interesting, the concept sounded intriguing to me, and it was pretty cheap at Goodwill. Got a couple Disney DVDs because they were cheap. John Carter, because I'm honestly curious to see how they handled this. Because John Carter of Mars is a book series that is honestly one of the most influential works of fiction out there. It's not this film's fault that it took this long to adapt a John Carter novel or a series of novels into a feature film. Uh, when a lot of people say it's generic or it feels the same as a lot of other stories, that's true, but that's only because there have been so many other films and so many other stories after John Carter really broke new ground that have borrowed and copied elements from John Carter. So, yeah, John Carter, Wreck-It Ralph, because I did not have it and I'm curious about it. And then another bit of animation in the 15th season of The Simpsons. I said at one point that I would pick up more Simpsons if they were cheap. This was cheap, so I picked it up. I cannot believe that there's 32 seasons of that show. I mean, I will never have the complete series at this point because there's just way too many seasons. But I'm resigned to that fact, and I'm okay with it. So now we get to the letter. I'm just going to kind of do a summary of some things, and I'm going to answer the questions because I am admittedly a little under the weather right now. So I don't want to push myself a little bit too hard. So, Johnathan says he hopes I enjoy these gifts. I absolutely will. He mentions that the house by the cemetery looks good in 4K. He talks about Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Talks about how it's worth it for the extras. Yes, I do think it's everything Creepshow 3 should have been, and then some. Both Julian Moore and Ray Dong Chung were absolutely lookers. I did not know that it was rumored to be in production, or the idea was thrown about all the way back in 1988. Johnathan mentions that there were rumors swirling in Fangoria back in the day. Yes, I did hear about all those upcoming Blu-ray releases and 4K releases. I mentioned most of them except for Dead and Buried, Total Recall, Coming to America, Vigilante, Popeye. I'm looking forward to Total Recall and Dead and Buried, Drive, Akira, Vigilante. Popeye I'm looking forward to on Blu-ray, even though I'm not a super big fan of it, because apparently the Blu-ray is going to have some features that I'm curious about. And, of course, Golden Child. Yes, I heard about the Texas Chainsaw reboot / sequel, the one that's filming right now. It's not a good sign when it's shooting in Romania, as well as the fact that the original director quits the production. And that's what happened with this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's shooting in Romania for cheap, and the original director just recently quit. So they're having to find a new guy. Not a good sign. It's a bad omen. And honestly, I think they should listen to the signs and just not do it. Just stop production entirely. Because we have not had a average, mediocre Texas Chainsaw movie since arguably the remake. Just let it die already. Because with every Texas Chainsaw movie, it's either 3 dicks up your ass or a rusty chainsaw right down your cornhole. Like what do we really have to gain here with more Texas Chainsaw movies? The story has run its course. The franchise has run its course. We do not need any more Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. Especially after Leatherface, which was another prequel / reboot of the series. Johnathan then talks about Dark Crystal, the TV show, and how it was canceled. I'm not surprised because the budget was astronomical, and Netflix has been living on borrowed time and borrowed money for a long time now. They haven't really made a profit in years, so I'm not surprised that they canned that show, even though it won an Emmy. Congrats to the show for winning an Emmy. I haven't seen it yet. I actually am looking forward to it whenever I get around to revisiting the film Dark Crystal. He then talks about Cuties. I agree with everything that you said about it. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole either, or 10-meter cattle prod, or the controversial reviews by some people on YouTube. One of which is honestly a fucking pedophile himself who should be expelled and kicked off the platform. Yeah, I think that Netflix definitely did fuck up. I don't think that Cuties. I almost said Cooties. Cooties is a different movie. Cooties is actually not that controversial. Cooties is actually a fun, underrated horror comedy. But Cuties, that one, yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one. And Netflix fucked up by even accepting that film for distribution. They should have just passed on it. But I don't think that it's going to kill Netflix. They've had some other controversial films and shows that they have streamed on their platform in the past. What's going to kill Netflix is if Netflix's original content is not enough to keep them afloat, not enough to actually provide them a real profit, because they're dealing with a lot more competition now in the streaming world than they were years prior. So with this competition, now the emphasis and the onus is really amplified on their original content. And if it's not good enough, or it's not something that really gets enough people to be willing to pay for the platform as the years go by, that's when Netflix is going to die, because they cannot thrive and live off of their original programming, because the programming that they borrowed or they got rights for to stream that they had nothing to do with, popular movies or shows or other franchises, the options for those streaming giants, for Friends or The Office, or any of these other kind of shows, are dwindling because of all these other platforms, some of which that are being started by the people who actually own the rights to those shows. So yeah, Netflix, if they're going to truly die, it's going to be due to other factors that have nothing to do with Cuties. Johnathan then asked me, how many stars do I give the following movies I reviewed? I'll save that for last. Talks about the new Bill and Ted, and about how he didn't like it either and he thought it was a big bummer. He asked me, do I think it's on par with Last Jedi, Alien 3, RoboCop 3, Critters New Binge, Creepshow 3, and The Predator, and other shitty sequels that hurt franchises? Yes, I am, because it follows the same formula and makes the same error that The Last Jedi or The Predator or some of these other films have done, where they try to deconstruct the franchise or have things in the sequel that are just massively inferior in almost every single way to any of the other previous films in the franchise. But specifically the deconstructing thing, because it's a lot of ways Face the Music is very cynical, and a lot of it is this deconstructing the franchise, in particular Bogus Journey, in the end credits sequence. Bill and Ted are losers, Wild Stallions are losers, they had one song and then they just weren't able to sell any albums, and the song didn't save the world, and they kept trying to make music but they kept sucking at it, and people just saw them as a joke. Typical Last Jedi approach to a franchise. I don't understand it. I mentioned it in the rant. I still don't get it. Why the hell are you making sequels so many years later and just shitting on the franchises on purpose? I do not understand. Yeah, I don't know why Deacon had to have married Missy. That was weird. That was pretty messed up. But that being said, in one of the Boom comics, in an alternate timeline, Bill marries Missy, so that's kind of screwy as well. But it doesn't give it an excuse either, though. He talks about what else I'm gonna do in October. I will talk about that pretty soon. He mentions how in November he's gonna send me some more. In December he's gonna send me some more movies, including Total Recall and Elephant Man. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. He says he can't wait for Dune because Denis is a very talented director. He absolutely is. And then he talks about how we might get a vaccine for the virus by April. I hope that's true. I hope that winds up being the case. Now let's get to how many stars I'm going to give to these movies. Robo Vampire, half star. Fright Night films. Fright Night, the original, the 1985 film. I'm going to give that 5. Fright Night Part 2, the sequel from the 80s. I'm going to give that 3. For the remake, I'm going to give that one probably 1.5. I'm really not a fan of that one. Fright Night 2 New Blood, 3.5. And remember, these are out of 5 stars. Bill and Ted movies, the first film 5, second movie 5. Face the Music 1. Legend of Dinosaurs 2 stars. Clueless 3. Detroit Rock City 2.5. Fast Times at Ridgemont High 4 or 5. I'm probably gonna go with well, honestly, I didn't really have much of a problem with that movie, so I'm going to go with like 4.5. Teenage Bonnie and Klepto Clyde, 2.5, 3 stars. Jawbreaker, 4, 4.5. I think I'm going to go with 4 for Jawbreaker. K-12, 1.5. Atlantic Rim, 1. Airheads, 4. The Scout, 3 stars. Goonies, 5 stars, one of my all-time favorites. License to Drive, 3. Or 3.5. Killing Spree, 2 stars just for the crazy batshit scenes and originality, and for the so bad it's good elements. Night of the Demons remake, I was surprised by that one, but the most I can give it is 3.5 stars out of 5. Road to Wellville, 3.5. So, yeah. Thanks for the letter, and thanks for all the gifts and for all the support. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what my plans are for this October. So, the plan after I finish Darkman, because I am definitely going to finish the Darkman series. I reviewed 2 and 3 already. I'm going to be posting a review of probably Darkman 2 before this video is even uploaded. So you should be able to check that out by the time this is up. And part 3, I'm going to be posting that in the next day or so. And then I still need to sit down and record a review or my thoughts on the terrible, absolutely awful, what the fuck is this unaired TV pilot from 1992 for Darkman. And then I'll be done with Darkman. But I'm not done with Sam Raimi because I'm going to be jumping headfirst into the Evil Dead franchise. The reason why I'm choosing that is because it's been requested by some people over the years. And I wrote a paper about the Evil Dead franchise for my last semester at college. So I have seen at least the first 3 fairly recently enough that I don't have to sit down and watch them again. So all I have to do is just sit down and talk about Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, and then take the time to watch the remake again and do a new review of that. So those will be the next franchise that I'm going to be tackling. I'm not going to do Ash vs. Evil Dead right now because that's just too much. I already have a lot on my plate planned for October anyway, so that would just make it just way too much for me to handle. Johnathan mentioned something like the Jaws franchise. I don't know. I think that's going to be a bit much, but we'll see. Because I am 100% going to be doing the Halloween franchise at least, all the Halloween films, and doing as in-depth reviews as I possibly can. If it means that the marathon is going to bleed into the next month, then so be it. But I'm going to finish it once and for all because I really want to finish what I start. I feel like I've been kind of a letdown in past years, starting things and never finishing them. So I'm trying to change that. And I feel I'm doing a better job with that. I mean, I just did Bill and Ted, and I'm finishing up Darkman. So and I'm gonna be finishing up Evil Dead. So two franchises I think is already a lot, and already a good uh, amount of content for Halloween. But I am almost done with watching season 4 of Tales from the Crypt. I only have a couple more episodes to watch, so I will do another Tales from the Crypt review sometime in October for season 4. I also watched season 1 of the 80s Twilight Zone again, and I 100% want to do a video on that, but it just depends on whether or not I have the time. But that I will try to maybe squeeze in, as well as some random horror reviews that aren't related to a franchise. The Witches of Eastwick is actually a film that I've been wanting to watch again. It's just been popping around in my head, and I've just been having the desire to watch it again for some reason. So that'll be one of them. Antebellum is another. Actually, am going to check that out pretty soon. I think the film has potential, and so does the concept. So I'm curious to see how things are going to unfold with it. And there's some others that I'm curious about for various other reasons that I'm going to throw in there, and maybe a few Stephen King films. Like, not as much as I initially was planning to do, but a few here and there. But it's just one of those things where we're just going to have to wait and see. But the plan for sure is Evil Dead and Halloween. And some of the random stuff like Antebellum and Witches of Eastwick and so on and so forth. And some other requests. I have some requests from Brock that I'm going to be doing this October. And there's also there's a few other things that I'm going to be doing as well. Plus, the usual vlogs, the usual stuff. I might try to cram in the craft in there when the Crap Legacy comes out. And then also do a rant on that. But I'm not going to make any guarantees with that kind of stuff, but I'm making a guarantee right now about Evil Dead and Halloween, at least, and season 4 of Tales from the Crypt. I'm making a guarantee on those at the very least for this month. And now we get to the special announcement, the interview. As you all know, I interviewed Larry Block, the writer of The Fun House, in the past. That's up on the channel if you want to check that out. And I do have a couple more parts of that interview that I'm going to post maybe sometime in October or in the next month or so. But what I wanted to announce is that I am going to officially 100% be interviewing director William Malone sometime next week. So I'm going to be interviewing him, and if you're not familiar with him, he is one of the more underrated directors out there, especially in the horror genre. He has a very distinct visual style. He directed the House on Haunted Hill remake, as well as Creature from 1985, Scared to Death, Fear.com, Parasomnia. He also directed episodes of Freddy's Nightmares and Tales from the Crypt, so as well as his own episode of Masters of Horror. So I am really, really looking forward to the opportunity to sit down and talk to him. I mean, I've been kind of in conversation with him back and forth on emails and stuff like that prior to even the pandemic. about doing an interview, but the pandemic happened and the quarantine and all this other stuff, and I think it just kind of threw things in kind of a limbo, so to speak. So now he's got an open schedule, and I've got more open schedules because I'm getting more time off at work. So this is gonna happen, and I'm so humbled and so blessed for this chance. I mean, this is honestly a dream come true. This is me living my dream, getting to sit down and talk to people who worked in the industry, people who were a part of the world of cinema, and left their mark on it. That is something that I never thought in a million years I would ever really be in a position to do. So I'm super super psyched about talking to William in the upcoming week or so, and I'm gonna try to make the most chill, relaxed, laid back kind of interview, because that's just kind of the person I am, and I'm gonna really try as hard as I possibly can to just let William carry the conversation, because in all honesty, in an interview with someone like William Malone, you want to hear what he has to say. You don't necessarily want to hear my opinions or my thoughts. Maybe a little bit, but for the most part, you want to hear what he has to say. So I'm going to try to structure things around him in a way where it can be just a really natural, just kind of conversation, just sitting down, chatting, talking about his work, and the various different projects and other things that he's done, whether they got made or they didn't, and so on and so forth. I am super looking forward to that. I don't know if it's going to be uploaded in its entirety in October, because I'm gonna try to really throw in some clips and try to, I'm gonna be breaking it up into sections anyway, because I have a feeling this is gonna be a pretty lengthy interview. So I'm probably not going to get the entirety of it up during the month of October, but I'm gonna get at least a part or two uploaded and edited and ready to go. So look forward to that. If you got any questions, anything that you would like to ask William, please feel free and leave a comment, and or go to my Facebook page and send me a message on there with a question or two or something. I'm gonna try to ask him some questions from subscribers and stuff like that, but we'll just see how things go. But it's just an incredibly humbling thing, to just have this set up and to speak to somebody who's legitimately made movies, and and is a part of the horror community, and it's just something that just is so cool. Anyway, I've kept you here long enough. I don't really have anything else to say anyway. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy what I have to come in this month of October. And I hope you have a great month. I hope you have a great rest of your year. And I hope you all are doing well. Take care. Thanks for your support. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. See ya.